Resource management is key in Marvel Strike Force, and power cores are one of the most valuable resources, especially if, like me, you're free to play. Today, I'll explain why they're so important, show you my top tips for maximizing not only your power core income in game, but also your overall resource income and what I think is the best way forwards. What's going on, everyone? I'm BPG. Welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time here, I make content for Marvel Strike Force. So if you like what you're watching, why not hit that like button, subscribe, and comment down below. I'd love to hear from you. So, power core income. Where do our daily power cores come from? So for the purposes of this video, I have taken my current arena rank, which is within the top 50. So I'm getting 200 cores a day. Down below in the description, I've actually made a spreadsheet that you guys can use. So if you plug your arena rank and the number of cores in, you can see exactly how many cores you've got coming in per year, how that equates to the daily cores that you could spend based on if you spend 50 cores or 200 cores a day on campaign energy. So things we could do similar though. Daily objectives. We get 50 cores for completing our daily objectives, and we get 50 cores for spending 1,075,000 gold in the golden opportunity milestone, and a variable amount of cores in the save the world 48-hour milestone, which depends on whether you're going to spend 50 cores a day on campaign energy or 200 cores a day on campaign energy. So BPG, how many power cores do we get? Well, the answer to that question all depends on how many power cores you spend per day on campaign energy. And how much campaign energy you spend. And you've got to do this math over 2 days. So if you spend 50 cores a day, over the 2 days, you would get a total income of 535 cores. That's after your 50 core core expenditure per day. Or if you were to spend 350 cores over 2 days, you would get 325 total cores incoming over those 2 days. That equates to a yearly income of 97,000 cores for a 50 core spend, or 59,000 cores for a 350 core spend. And that's a difference of 38,000 cores. And we can break this down to monthly, weekly, and daily if we want to. So monthly, we would get 8,000 cores if we were to spend 50 cores a day, as opposed to nearly 5,000 cores a month if we were to spend 200 cores a day, or the 350 core spend over 2 days. And so daily gives us about 163 cores for spending 200 cores a day, or 268 cores if we spend the 50 cores a day. But again, down below in the description, spreadsheet, plug your figures in, you can see how that affects you. Ultimately though, it is all a balancing act. We need to balance the amount of cores we have coming in to the amount of training materials and gold and everything like that, the other resources that we need to build our characters. We need to balance this out and make it a nice little balancing act. So what can we spend our power cores on? Well, I've mentioned one already, which is energy. So we can spend it on campaign energy, we can spend it on isotope 8 energy, or we could spend it on the incursion campaign energy. This, I feel, is the best bang for your buck of what you can spend your power cores on. The second thing we can spend our power cores on is character orbs. These orbs come out when the character offers come out, and they generally cost 675 power cores. And from that, we get character shards, between 6 to 180 of the featured character in that character orb. The final thing that we can spend power cores on is refreshes or revives. I've put these two in the same category because I feel they're very similar. So refreshes refers to either refreshing your stores to get more items, which people are doing at the moment with to chase the T18 gear, the tier 18 gear, or you can refresh campaign nodes. So earlier on, we were doing it. I was doing this certainly in the Juggernaut Zombie campaign, just so that I could actually get more shards of him and get him to a slightly bigger character. We can also use it for revives. Now that's revives in either Dark Dimension or in raids. When our toons die, we can revive them and carry on again. So the first one we can go over is spending power cores on character orbs. So what's the difference if we were to only spend our 50 cores per day on energy refreshes to our 4 times 50 core or 200 cores per day on energy refreshes? So the total amount left over after that with our power cores, what can we buy just buying power character orbs? So if we were to just do the 150 core refresh per day, and the rest of our power cores we were to spend on character orbs, we could buy 145 character orbs, as opposed to 88 character orbs for if we spend that 350 cores per every 2 days on campaign energy. And that's a difference of 57, which you might say, BPG, that's a big difference in number there. That's going to get me a lot, right? Well, let's play devil's advocate here. If we're only going to get the 6 shard drop, which is the minimum drop out of those orbs, actually those 57 orbs only equate to 341 character shards, which in total would give us either 1 5-star character or 3 characters that needed 100 shard unlock, like Craven at the moment. So here we come on to what I think is the best bang for your buck, and that is energy refreshes, campaign energy refreshes mainly. And the reason for that is because of what they bring in. So let's have a look at this. So from campaign node farming, we get 2 main incomes from it. There are other things like character shards and that, but the main incomes from it are gold and training materials. And as you'll see, there's quite a lot that we get. Per year, we get 88 million gold if we were to spend 50 cores on campaign energy refreshes per day, as opposed to if we were to spend those 450 core refreshes, we would get 120 million gold. So that's 32 million gold difference. And then later on, we'll go on to explain what this means for your account. And training materials, again, 58,000 purple training materials from the Nexus hard chapters. Now I must caveat this. These figures are all taken from the hard chapters of the campaigns. So Nexus, Heroes hard, Villains hard. The gold is an average based on the average gold off of each node from those. The training materials I've done on Nexus only because they are the L3 training materials, the purple training materials. So we've got 58,000, nearly 59,000 for the 50 cores, or 80,000 for the 200 cores a day, giving us a difference of nearly 22,000. But that's not all we get for spending our campaign energy. We also get the Save the World milestone resources, and from that we get a yearly gold income from the Save the World milestone of between 26 million and 35 million. So again, that's another nearly 9 million difference in gold. We get T4s for upgrading our characters. So again, by farming the campaign nodes and spending those 200 cores on campaign energy and spending that energy, we can make our characters and our roster better. We get nearly 800 T4s extra from the Save the World milestone over a year if we spend 200 cores a day. That's the equivalent of 4 more abilities, which again adds power to your roster. And last but not least, what we get is silver promotion credits. Now, these aren't as important now because we seem to be getting showered with them in game, but the difference between 50 cores and 200 cores is actually double. So by spending 50 cores, you only get 730 silver promo credits, as opposed to 1,460 from the 200 core spend. Okay, so You might be asking, what is the difference? What does spending those 200 cores a day on campaign energy, what's that going to do to my account? So we need to take a look at something. Firstly, we need to take a look at the cost to take a character from level 1 to level 95. So the total, the cost to take that character from level 1 to 95 is 16,813 gold, which is a lot. That's a lot of gold, you know? What's our yearly gold income from both the Save the World milestone and the nodes if we were to spend 50 cores a day? Well, our yearly gold income there is 114 million, as opposed to our 200 cores a day on campaign energy, which is 156 million. Now, how many characters would that allow us to build? At 50 cores a day, that would allow us to build 6 characters per year, as opposed to 9 characters per year for spending 200 cores. So as you can see, we can get more growth out of our account if we spend the 200 cores per day on campaign energy. And here's a little screenshot with massive thanks to Major Jimbo and Warlord from the Jetson squad for providing this for me. So this is the purple training materials, which we spoke about in the previous slide about where we get on the campaign node farming. And as you'll see, the yearly campaign nodes that we farm and that yearly purple training materials more than will do those 9 characters that we are going to be able to upgrade because of our gold income. So spending power cores on refreshes, as a free-to-play player, I don't recommend this. This is something I do very, very rarely, generally on events like we've just had with the Zombie Juggernaut event, where I'm trying to get more shards on that specific character. I've spent some power cores on that, but generally I don't recommend doing this. I've heard of content creators and people doing it in the stores to get more gear tier 18 pieces, but personally myself, I'm just going to wait and play the long game. You know, as I said in my previous video, I think Dark Dimension 6 for my level of characters, you know, my current level in the game and where I am, Dark Dimension 6 is like past me at the moment. I need to be looking further forwards. So a little link, and I'll leave a link to that video in the end card where you can have a look at that one, but my thoughts on Dark Dimension 6 and us as players. But again, just to reiterate, this isn't something I would do. The main thing I would do is spend campaign energy, or spend our power cores on campaign energy refreshes to get that extra income so we can build our characters more. So thank you for watching the video. If you've made it to this part, I know it's been a bit rambly. I apologise for that. The videos will get better as we go on. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment down below, and also there'll be a link to the spreadsheet down below with where you can do all the math for yourself. And until next time, keep positive.